has PCOS and has struggled with gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. I think I've been very transparent over the years and always will continue to be. Weight gain and dealing with my PCOS is not something that was easy for me. I really struggled for a very long time with it, and to be honest, I still do to this day. I like to make these yearly updates of my PCOS journey because I truthfully believe that being transparent is the #1 key to allowing other people not to feel alone. When I first got diagnosed with PCOS, I feel like it was not spoken a lot about, and there was a lot of videos online kind of knowing what it was, but not really knowing what it was at all. Basically, the only reason I learned what it was from my doctor and doing research. It was not something that I heard a lot of people talk about or advocate for and try to make awareness for. And that's when I really decided to start my YouTube channel back in 2018. I wanted to be someone who could really inspire others and really just be there to be that guiding hand and help someone who may be going through the same thing as me or a similar situation as me. Before I get any further into this video, I do want to say I'm not certified in anything that I'm talking about, and I want to make that very clear. This is about my own personal story, and just keep in mind that what worked for me may not work for you. But with that being said, PCOS has been something that I really did not have a good time with growing up. I got diagnosed back in 2018, and it was a very hard diagnosis. Like I said, did not know what it was, and also I feel like there was not enough research, at least at that time, or from a perspective of the research and information I was given, that made me feel comfortable with anything that was happening to me. And comfortable might not be the right word, but I mean this in a way of I feel like I have support, I feel like I am going to be okay. I was basically told that there is no cure, and I was basically stuck in a body that I was not happy with, and I do not mean that from a how I looked perspective. I'm not going to lie, I was not happy with how I looked, but it was more about how I felt inside. I did not feel healthy, I did not feel confident, I felt very, very sad, and I honestly didn't really want to do anything with my days. I would wake up, I would try to go to the gym, but it was very not motivating when you try to go to the gym and you eat right and you're in a calorie deficit and you're doing everything quote unquote on paper that is supposed to help you lose weight and get healthy, and it's not working. You're going to doctors and you're drinking a lot of water, you're cutting out sugar, you're doing every single diet that you can think of, and it's not working. It was beyond frustrating. I literally have no other words for it. I think of myself a few years ago and I look at how far I've come, and I get so proud of myself sometimes because the amount of issues I went through to get from here, which was rock bottom, to here was very hard, and it was very detrimental, and it took a lot for me to become the person I am today. So when I started my first YouTube video, I knew it was going to be something that would allow others not to feel alone. PCOS is something that needs to have more awareness and needs to have more understanding, and although I cannot sit here and tell you exactly what it is, I will put a definition of it on the screen right here. My whole goal is to just make these yearly updates, make a yearly check-in, talk about my weight gain throughout the year, to make it very known that this is an issue that continues to come up for me. Sure, I may have times where my PCOS, in my opinion, is stable, and then I have what I like to call them PCOS flare-ups. When I have PCOS flare-ups, I am not happy. I trap myself in my house. I don't like going out. I will literally wake up, go to work, go to the gym, come home, and be upset. Like, I don't want to go out with my friends. I don't want to be a social butterfly, and usually I am. Usually I love going on adventures. I love going to the city. I will say yes to anything and everything. Like, I love those adventures, but the second I don't feel confident in myself and I don't feel good on the inside, it really does start to show on the outside. And I think it's so important to talk about because even though a part of it is in my control, a big part of it also isn't. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I didn't have eating issues growing up. I did. There was times where I ate too little. There was times where I ate too much. With that being said, when I really put my mind to it, I knew what I had to do to get myself from here to here, rock bottom to what made me happy, and then exceed what made me happy. Even though on paper I knew what to do, that does not mean that it was easy by any sense. And even though I believed in myself, even though I knew I was capable of doing it, at the end of the day, it really just came down to, do I want to? Do I really have the motivation to keep going? Do I really have the determination to not give up on myself? And eventually, I realized that that answer was yes. Does that mean I will never have a PCOS flare-up in my life again? No, I have them quite often. But it does mean I'm more understanding and can recognize when one is happening and fix it, or kind of tweak things in my diet, tweak things in my workout routine to change those things before the PCOS flare-up gets bad. So yes, I do have PCOS flare-ups to this day. Yes, it does make me unmotivated. Yes, it does make me upset. And yes, I cry a lot. But I do know that I was once at a place where it was so bad. I had to lose 70, 80 pounds to make myself healthy again. Not talking from a how I looked perspective. I want to say right now, you are beautiful just the way you are. You do not need to change, and that is not the point of this video. I I'm just saying I was unhappy with how I felt inside. I didn't feel like I was healthy at all, and honestly, from test results that I got and everything I was hearing from my doctors, I wasn't. I was overweight, I had way too much water retention in my body, and I needed to make a change. When I come back now, yes, that may still happen. I may get flared up with water. I may not feel my best at times. I may feel a PCOS flare-up coming. It's just a lot easier for me to control because I don't need to lose 80 pounds. Maybe I need to lose 10 pounds to get healthy again. And even though that may be frustrating, especially if I feel like I'm doing quote unquote everything right to stay healthy, it's okay. Things happen, weight fluctuates all the time, and it is not as bad as it used to be. And the thing that keeps me really motivated is I was able to lose the 80 pounds. I did that in 6 months, and a lot of people always ask me, how did you do that? That's not possible. You really could not have done that in 6 months. When I tell you I did that in 6 months, I did it in 6 months. This was right before quarantine was about to happen back in 2019. I started going to the gym. I started being very consistent. Within 6 months, I did go from 200 pounds to 130. I'm 5'1" for reference, so at that point, I still needed to lose around 10 pounds, but I was very happy and more comfortable with my body being in that healthy range weight and not really having to overthink what I was eating, and everything like that made me a lot happier. When quarantine came around, I got very scared because I thought that not being able to go to the gym and to Orange Theory would really, I guess, alter the way my PCOS was working with my body. But I decided to go on runs every day outside. I decided to get a treadmill at my house. I decided to get weights at my house, and I continued that training all throughout quarantine, and it really did make a difference. The second I did stop weight training and running and staying active, I instantly gained weight. And still to this day, the second I am not consistent, I will go in a rabbit hole and gain weight, and my eating issues will come back. Consistency really is key. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the only thing that ever worked for me was Orange Theory, because that's not true. I think that high intensity workouts could work for some people. I think that low intensity workouts can work for some people. I think Pilates is great. For me, Pilates is not the type of exercise that makes me happy. I think that finding a healthy medium between things that make you happy with exercise and with eating, and that balance in your life of things that are going to push you and keep you disciplined and keep you motivated is so important, and honestly makes a difference between making a lifestyle change, not just, oh, I'm going on a diet, if that makes sense. So now that I introed that and kind of gave like a little background, I want to talk about how my year has been this year. Last year, I posted a PCOS update video, and I'm not sure that anyone else is going to be able to see that, but if I look at that video and I look at my face in that video, I look very inflamed, I look very puffy, and I look very unhappy. I say that in a way of that is a PCOS flare-up. I had a 10-pound weight gain within 1 to 2 weeks, and that is very normal for PCOS, and all of that was water. One of my family members had a really good way of describing it. When I get hugged and I'm having a PCOS flare-up, I feel like air. It feels like my body is just holding on to way too much water, and I feel like a balloon. My family member does not mean that in a mean way, nor do I. That's just how I can describe it for somebody who maybe doesn't have that and doesn't really understand what I'm talking about. When I look at this video here from last year, that's exactly how I was feeling. It made perfect sense when my family member said that, and it honestly kind of gave me clarity that even though I was doing everything right on paper, this was not my fault. This was something that my body was going through, and I just needed to learn how to regulate. Fast forward, I think I stayed in a really bad rabbit hole and in a bad rut for around 6 months. Then coming up to my birthday on June 3rd, my birthday last year, I was so upset. I was looking at pictures. I really remembered how badly I wanted to make a change, and that's when I kind of said to myself, stop, don't be upset. This is a flare-up. This is fixable. This is not something that's not fixable. It just needs to be recognized. Once I realized that it was something that needed to be recognized, I really locked in. I had my one last day because my friend was throwing me a birthday party. I had what I wanted, I drank what I wanted, and then that next day I was locked in. I did everything I could to make myself happy again. I signed up with a personal trainer, I followed a meal plan, I went to Orange Theory, and I stayed consistent. And I want to say happily from there, my weight slowly started to go down. But again, it really wasn't just about the weight. It was about how I was feeling inside. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's so easy to stay motivated. It's so easy to go to the gym. It's so easy to just show up. It's not, especially at 6 a.m. in the morning, especially at 9 p.m. at night, or after school or after work. It is hard despite the situation, especially when you do not see results. I was not seeing results, at least not right away. I want to say for a month and a half, I saw the weight on the scale going down, but I was not seeing results. I did not feel better, and I honestly was so unmotivated. I didn't know what else to do. I wanted to quit every single day, but the number one thing I tell myself, if you stop, if you quit at a goal, you have to start over. If you fail at a goal and you don't quit, you don't have to start over. You're that much closer to reaching your goal. Failure is only failure if you stop. Failure is not failure. It's only a setback. setback if you continue to keep growing from that failure. So even though I saw the weight going down, but I wasn't happy with the results, I went to my trainer. I said, hey, I don't think that this meal plan is working for me. I'm also not happy with the food I'm putting in my body. I don't like it. I feel like I'm basically like forcing myself to have the meal plan. Can we tweak this? She was like, of course. And I'm a picky eater. I don't like a lot of things. We worked together. We found things that actually worked for my body and things that fueled my body and made me feel happy and eager to eat that healthy food. And that's when I started to see the game change. Let's say I didn't want to have grilled chicken every day. I air fried a chicken cutlet, making healthier life choices, but choices that are going to continue to allow me to keep this lifestyle. Ever since then, I went from 160, which is what I was in the video I showed from last year, to now, which is a healthy 130. And I maintained that for 7 months, meaning I did not have a PCOS flare-up since last June. And I say 7 months from when I actually started my weight loss journey, but from that video, it would be a year. And that just makes me really happy because I used to go through all of these phases of up and down and up and down. I would just yo-yo. And it wasn't because I was really choosing to. It was because I felt like when I had a PCOS flare-up, that was it. There was no other option. It was just happening. I couldn't reverse it. I couldn't stop. Like the PCOS flare-up just had to stop. It had to fix itself. Where now I know that's not the case. I'm not saying I didn't have a moment this year where I didn't gain 5 pounds. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying when I realized it and I knew that it was just border weight and a PCOS flare-up, I was able to recognize it, tweak the change in my diet and my exercise, and correct it without it being noticeable and without it affecting how I felt inside. And because of that, it did not affect how I felt outside. So basically the whole point of this is, yes, I still do have PCOS flare-ups. I always will. I have PCOS. Unfortunately, it's not curable. However, at least in my case, and I'm very, very lucky and fortunate to say this, and I do not take it for granted, it is manageable. And I'm very thankful for that, and I'm very proud of myself because even though it's manageable, it doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean that it should be overlooked. Yeah, I know how to maintain my weight, but that doesn't mean that I don't face the challenges within my mind every single day. So basically, when I get asked, oh, how'd you lose weight so fast? How'd you change your body? How do you change your perspective? You change your mindset, honestly. You show up, you do what's gonna work for you, you do some form of exercise, you do a meal plan that is going to allow a lifestyle change, same with the gym, not something that feels like a diet, something that makes you feel happy, something that is going to fuel your body to make you feel like your highest self. And it honestly does start with changing your mindset. When I used to think of PCOS, I would really think of negative things, and that when a flare-up came, it was negative. I couldn't change it. Now when I think about it, I recognize the issue and then I make a change to fix it. The whole entire thing is, if you believe in yourself, if you have the willpower to actually show up, be motivated, be disciplined on those days where it's a little bit harder, the change will come. It just really does start with mindset. And the second you realize that it starts with mindset, that it starts with that change in your mind, that's when the game changes. That is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want more videos like this because I love speaking about this. I'm very passionate about it because of all the issues I went through with it. And if you are someone going through PCOS or any health related issue or anything at all, just know that my DMs are always open. I'm always here. Again, I'm not certified in what I'm talking about. This is just my own experience, but I will always listen and lend a hand to be there for you. I love you. I believe in you. You got this. Thank you guys again for watching. If you stayed up until this point of the video, comment this emoji down below, and I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye.